Have you ever genuinely tried to help someone and somehow it got completely misunderstood? Like what you meant for kindness was received as something selfish, maybe even arrogant or self promoting on your part. And because you were being genuine, realizing that that is how it was perceived, it hurt. And maybe even more than you expected. You weren't trying to be anything other than helpful. You cared. You were trying to do something good. But the response back was, it felt like it was biting because what they saw was self centered instead of giving. That kind of hurt just hits hard because it's not even just what they said, but it's what they believed about you, that you had the wrong motive, that you were self serving, that your heart wasn't truly genuine, supposedly. And you're sitting there thinking, no, that wasn't me at all. You got me all wrong. And after that, part of you just wants to pull back from the situation, from the person, and maybe even from helping again. Because you figure if being kind gets you kind of like that slap, then it makes you question why even try helping anyone? And maybe you may go to God. That's what I did. And when I went to God, I was asking, well, why did that happen? Why did I get hurt for trying to do something good, something that I thought would be helpful? And maybe you cry a little while. Yeah. Because those feelings are real and it does hurt. I get it. I know because it happened to me recently. We're all human. It does hurt to be misunderstood like that. And even more so when you weren't totally being really genuine in wanting to be helpful. And so that's the place when you're there and at least for me, it hurt so much that I was starting to really cry and get in my feelings. I was like, why? And in that place, I don't know about you, but for me, if I was like, God, why did this happen? Part of my mind was like, well, I could imagine God just coming down or maybe an angel appearing saying, Kathy, you did great. But that's not what happened. If the times when I just let myself cry, that's all I heard, my cry. So when you're there at first, even though you're wanting somebody to save you or help you or hug you, and hopefully you have something like buddy like that in your life. So that's awesome. But even when you're alone, at first you just hear nothing but yourself. If you're the one crying, when you finally calm down, just feels like maybe with all the feelings, just feels like you're a sinking ship. Maybe you spiral a little bit. But maybe when you calm down enough, something might pop up in your mind. A thought in calmness. Maybe something like, what they said isn't really who you are. Now, if you continue in that calmness, because you're thinking, well, of course, I know that what they said isn't who I am. If you allow yourself to stay a little bit more in that calmness, you might start hearing more of that. You might start hearing something like, I know what they said about you, but I know it's not the truth. Because God starts reminding you of the things He has said about you. Things like, You are his child. He calls you beloved. I know that's not really a word we use a lot in English nowadays, but you are his beloved, his treasure, a precious daughter. To him, you are someone so valuable, he was willing to give his own life just to make a way to be connected with you again. Because not anything we did personally, but because that connection was broken long, long ago, he made a way to come back so that we could have a relationship with him. And that's how much you are worth to him. So even if somebody else doesn't see your heart clearly, that does not change who you are. And it doesn't change how God sees you. Not everyone is meant to fully see the value that you have, that you bring. And that doesn't take away anything from who you are. It's okay. Because people look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. That's what the Bible tells us in 1 Samuel 16:7. So know that even if everyone else misunderstands you, God sees your heart. So he knows the truth of your intentions. So what I mean even more so is this. Think of also what he went through. Jesus was in heaven, living like a king. And when he came back down to earth, his people were expecting that mighty king to show up on a horse with a sword, with a crown. So when he came to earth as a baby in a manger, and then he grew up, he was still a lowly carpenter. His people rejected him too. So not everyone will see the truth of your heart. Because not everyone was meant to play a role in your life in where God is leading you. But special people will. And God will see to that. So instead of shrinking back, instead of closing off completely, I hope you can bring it back to this, that you know who you are. Somebody precious, the beloved daughter of the Most High God. And I know it's hard sometimes, at least I find it hard, to see myself that way because it seems a little bit foreign. How am I precious? How am I a beloved? But that is exactly how God sees us. And so I've noticed that because we grew up in this world, and depending on what we've heard in our past, we're coming from a place of maybe those thoughts are not as common. And that's why spending time, more and more time with God is able to bring you closer to being able to see that about yourself, right? When you meet someone, the more and more you spend time with them, you might notice you pick up things from them. You start thinking similar things. Have you ever been with a best friend? You guys you finish each other's sentences, or maybe husband, wife, you finish each other's sentences because you know each other so well. Well, when we start spending more time with God, we start being able to see ourselves more like how he sees us, that treasure, that beloved. So if you've been hurt, and I know I've felt the feelings too, and it's not easy. It's not always easy. But I want you to know that you don't have to carry their misunderstanding of you. You can let it go. You can forgive. You can let it go. but that's a choice. Let it go and come back to who God says you are, the precious daughter, the one that He gave up so much for, just to be with you, just to have a connection with you. That's how valuable you are. So let's come back to the truth of who you are. You are loved. So don't forget that. And I hope this video has touched your heart. And if you would love more videos like this, I hope you would subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.